Welcome to My Jesus Stories with Patricia King. Patricia shares stories from her life's journey of walking with Jesus and the lessons she's learned. Now, here is Patricia King.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for My Jesus Stories. And I know that you all have your stories. I want to encourage you to write them down and to journal them, because those are your testimonies of the great things that God has done in your life. And those are things that you can pass on to other generations and other people as we boast in the Lord. I just love to boast in Him. But today I want to share with you a story. It was my first trip to the Philippines back in the 1980s, and oh my goodness, it was such a glorious time. And I had never actually been a speaker at what would be called a crusade, an outdoor rally, an outdoor crusade where unsaved people come forward. And so this was my very first opportunity, and I went into kind of a small village town, and we went in there, and they had all these banners across the main street saying that the evangelist, Patricia King, is coming. And so anyways, they set up the meeting outside. It wasn't a large crusade like ones that we've been in recent years, or sometimes hundreds of thousands of people. But this one, I would say, was about 400 or 500 people. And they all came out at night and walked from afar and had their little motorcycles and that, and they came together at night to worship Jesus. And then I spoke on the subject of miracles. And then I said, if anyone has like goiters, come forward, because Jesus is going to heal them. If anyone has tumors, come forward. Jesus is going to heal them. If anyone is blind, come forward. Jesus is going to heal them. And so we had wave after wave of healing. And it was amazing. All the testimonies that came forward, it was just like electrifying. It was a miracle dimension in the atmosphere. And I know that we're going to have that again. We're going to have that all around the world, where Jesus shows up in miracle atmosphere. And so it was so much fun. I was just stunned at what the Lord had done. I'd never been in that position before, never seen that realm of miracles before. And so I went to bed that night feeling so fulfilled, so excited. It was almost like I could take on the world. I mean, it was like I could believe God for anything, and I went to bed praising Him. I woke up in the morning, and there was the pastor that we were working with came to me, and he said, there's a young man that wants to see you, and that he had ridden on his little called jeepney to see me. And he says, Mama Patricia, there is a woman in our village that's not far from here who has been very sick. And she says that if the white missionary lady can come, because they had gone back to the village and told the village of all the miracles Jesus did that night. And she said, if the white missionary lady can come, I know Jesus will heal me. She wasn't even a believer yet. So I was all excited. I was full of faith from the night before. I knew Jesus could do anything. So I hopped on that jeepney, and away we went, and drove for about maybe 20 minutes into this little village. And when we went into the village, I mean, it was small, and there was very poor housing, like little kind of like structures made of bamboo and different things. And we went through and found the place where the woman was. And it was a small place where she was laid down on a bamboo bed, no mattress, just bamboo. And when I saw her, it was like faith drained out of me. Here was this emaciated little woman, just frail, like bone with skin on it. She was bright-eyed. She had no teeth in her mouth. They had all, I guess, rotted away. And she was this frail little woman who apparently had been paralyzed for a number of years. She had not been off that bed, and the family was looking after her. The village looked after her. They would turn her over and back over and bathe her. And feed her and do whatever they could do. But she wasn't active. She wasn't out of that bed for 10 years. And when I heard the story and when I looked at her, I let the natural circumstances really dissolve my faith. And I looked at her and I thought, oh my goodness. And all the village had gathered around. The room was full of people, but then outside the room, looking through the windows, was every window was full of people looking in from the outside. And I thought, oh, these people are waiting for Jesus to do something great. I don't know why. I don't have faith. I mean, it was like drained out of me. So I thought, maybe I'll just lay hands on her and pray and let everyone know that the healing can be progressive. Now, I knew Jesus could heal, and I knew miracles were real, and I knew the promises of God. But for some reason, I was attacked with unbelief that he would do it right then and there, like he had the night before. He had just shown me all these miracles the night before. And to my shame, I have to say that at that moment, I did not draw on the truth of who God was and what he could do. But you know what? The Lord is merciful. And I know that he forgave me and he didn't give up on me. And so when I suggested to him that I could lay hands on her and just let people know that healing was progressive, he did not accept that from me. He said, no, you're going to sit her up at the side of the bed. And I thought, oh my gosh, she looks so frail that if I sit her up, maybe her bones will break. And again, I had all this negativity in my mind. But you know what I think actually happened in the spirit? There was so much faith in the room because of all that they had heard from the night before. And all the people in the village had so much expectancy that it actually drowned out my unbelief. And God took note of their faith and would not pay attention to my unbelief. I feel so bad that I was even in that place. But God doesn't condemn us. So we're not to condemn ourselves, but we're to learn from those situations. So I got her on the side of the bed and she was sitting there with, her little mouth all happy, but no teeth showing, of course, because she didn't have any. And she was all frail. And I thought, well, no bone broke yet. And she's really happy. And all the village was more excited than they had been in the beginning because she was now sitting at the side of the bed and she was all frail and, like that. And I thought, oh, the village is so excited. Now I'll just put her down. And, they seem to be excited about what's already happened. And the Lord said, no, you're going to stand her up now. So again, I got hit with fear. I got hit with fear thinking, if I stand her up, what if she collapses? What if a bone breaks? Because literally she looked like bone with skin on it. So he just kept telling me, you will stand her up. So I stood her up, and now the village was really excited, and she was excited. She's standing there like that, all excited. And of course, I'm holding her up, and I got behind her to make sure that she wouldn't collapse. I stood behind her, between her and the bed. And then the Lord said, now I want you to walk her. And I thought, oh, the same fear hit me. I'm not learning my lesson yet, but the patience of the Lord, he is so patient. And he said, you will walk her, put your knee behind her knee and guide her steps. So I did that. And the village was like, wow, they were all excited. And she was all smiley. And then the Lord said, let go. And I was like, oh, in my mind's eye, I could imagine her collapsing to the floor. I'm just so glad that there was expectation and faith in that crowd because it drowned out my unbelief. I think I was the only person with unbelief. We're not the great evangelists that come into town. We are frail human beings that we could see God move one moment and then deny him the next. That is just not okay. And I had to come to a realization of that. And so there, I let her go, and guess what happened? She started walking, and the whole village was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I was in tears. I felt so bad that I had not believed God, but he's such a forgiving God that he let me enjoy the testimony. He let me enjoy the work that he had done. And so we got her back, and I realized, she was standing beside me, and I showed her to the village for the glory of God. And then I gave an altar call, and the whole village basically came to the Lord. The ones that weren't saved yet got saved at that moment because they saw the mighty works of God. Jesus said that the works that I do shall you do also, and greater works than these shall you do. He wants you to rise up and really start moving forward to do his works. He says, lay hands on the sick, they shall recover. He wants you to partner with him for the miraculous. I learned a big lesson that day, and I wish it was the last time I had to learn that lesson. But I think all of us, to some degree, have to fight unbelief from time to time when the enemy comes in and tries to diminish the greatness of God before us. And so I just want to encourage you today to shake off unbelief and to lay hold of the power of God, the truth about who God is and what he can do and what he can do through you, because we are just human vessels, but the great treasure lives within us. The exceeding power of the greatness of God that we see demonstrated today through believers, it's all about him. We might be the donkey that's carrying Jesus into the city. We might be the vessel that he flows through, but never forget that we're only the vessel, and he is the great one, and he is merciful, and he is kind, and he is patient. And no matter how much you have failed him in the past, no matter how much I have failed him in the past, he is faithful. And we saw so many miracles after that day, so many miracles of healing, of deliverance. We cast out devils. We have seen the dead raised. I'll share those stories some other time. But God is a great God. He is a kind God. He is a patient God. And he is a miracle working God. So this is my Jesus story, my boast in Jesus for how much he loves everyone and how faithful he is to all of us. Rejoice in him today. Just bless him today with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And I want to invite you to join me in other teachings I have, in mentorship programs I have, in outreaches that we do, in media that we produce, because we are committed to boasting on Jesus all of our days. As long as I have breath, I will praise the Lord. As long as I have strength, I will use it for his glory, because he is so worthy. And I'd love to invite you to partner with me and our ministry if you feel so led, or to give a donation if we have encouraged your faith, if we have been a blessing to you. Maybe you'd like to bless the Lord in this ministry and through this ministry. So just go on patriciaking.com. That's my website. And there is a place where you can give there. Or you can give by text to PKM at 77977. I'd love to have you part of our ministry. We have so much to offer. We have a web church that you can join, be part of our